Hello, my name is AIDA Fernandez. I own 7.5 acres located in the area known as the 8.5 square mile area. My story began in 2005 when DERM came into my life. The harassment, intimidation, and judicial persecution began with my first hearing with Judge Fernandez, who after the first hearing was taken out of my case due to the changing him to criminal court. The second hearing was given to Judge Mark King Liban from the criminal court changed to the civil court, who ruled in favor of the county, however, granted me a stay and urged me to appeal the case in the 3rd District Court. Then Judge King Liban was immediately changed back to the criminal court from civil. Then Judge Langer came into place with DERM, began a series of emergency hearings and injunctions. I have spent over $175,000 in legal fees in order to defend my case against DERM legal actions in court, all in efforts for me to execute an agreement to destroy my agricultural operations. Do not appeal to the 3rd District Court, because that was one of the things that I needed to agree to. Even though I have agricultural permits on a federal and state and municipal level, they decided not to let me continue my agricultural operations. All this happening, and even though I have been requesting the DERM to provide to me in writing a wetlands determination, they were not able to produce it ever. Neither have they been able to produce it for me or to my neighbors in the 8.5 square mile area, now 4.5 approximately square mile area. So last year they asked the Department of Environmental Protection, who found that to come into my property. And they found that we do have wetland characteristics on my property. However, they found no reason for me not to continue my agricultural operations. The area has a wetland characteristic because of the continuous flooding that was inflicted in this area due to the lack of water management from the district. Hence, Congress approved Public Law 108-7, together with the U.S. Corps Alternative D. This was back in 2003. And the seepage canal with a pump station S331 was built on Southwest 205th Avenue. And the protection levee was built on Southwest 213th Avenue. All this at an approximate cost of $400 million to date spent on this project. This project's component was to do only one thing: to provide flood protection to the community that was left behind, and instructed the government to protect and promote the agricultural operations in the remaining 8.5 square mile area. Meanwhile, DERM comes around with South Florida Water Management and tells us that we are wetlands. This was not given in our deeds. This was not previously told to any of the property owners here in the 8.5 square mile area, or the remaining residents here in the 8.5 square mile area. And my question is, we have 2 canals and 2 pump stations, including a protection levee in 4.5 square miles. It just makes me wonder, how do you build so much protection and flood protection in this if this community was not to be here? This community needs to be let it flourish into what it has always been for the past 50 years, an agricultural community with residential properties. This is not only happening to me, this is happening to a lot of other neighbors in the area. I'm going to be calling someone that is also my neighbor and lives here and had her operations here, and I want you to hear her stories, and following you'll be getting many more stories from other residents here in the area, so that you know exactly what is going on, and so that you understand our story and what we're going through. Michelle, would you like to come and join me?
Hi, Anna.
Hi. State your name.
Hi, my name is Michelle Garcia, and I have 5 acres on 15796 Southwest 209 Avenue.
When did you purchase the property?
I bought this property in June of 2005, and I sold my house that I had in order to establish an agricultural business. Went and got all my permits through the state and all governmental licenses that I would need, and I started establishing my nursery. After everything was completed, I even had I think it was a $200,000 loan from the federal government, the USDA Farm Service Agency, and once everything was completed, I had a person, a stranger at the gate, which I went to inquire, you know, why he was there, and he stated that he was from water management, and that he urged me to contact Michael Spinelli from the Department of Environmental Resource Management, DERM, because I had illegally filled with mulch, and that my agricultural operations were illegal. So obviously I didn't contact anybody because I had all my licenses and everything. And
I have one question though. Did you get a permit to draw water from South Florida Water Management?
Yes, I did. I have a permit till the year 2027.
2027. Do you also have a mortgage? Not only the federal government, but do you have a mortgage on your property?
I have a mortgage on my property for $240,000, besides the I think it's $230,000 that I have for the FSA. So
for the FSA. Do you pay taxes on this property? Have been paying taxes for this property for the past 5 years? And are you paying as a wetland property?
No, as a
do you
matter
have
of
the
fact,
bills also for Miami Dade County?
I brought these papers. These are my 2005 taxes when I first purchased, and I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but I have the value, assessed value is $35,000, and I was paying $746 of taxes.
And in no place does it say that you are a wetland?
No.
Did your deed say that you were a wetland?
No, and we had 2 closings, because we had the closing when we purchased and we had the closing for the agricultural loan. And
Please state what is the last real estate tax that you received.
These are the 2008 taxes with a value assessed at $207,000. With my agricultural exemptions, I'm paying $1,844. And these taxes come from Miami-Dade County. So I want to know, either these are really expensive wetlands, or are we wetlands?
Have you ever gotten a determination from DERM or any other source, any other agency? Have they come to your property, done a study on your property, and specified to you, yes ma'am, you are a wetland, and here are the papers? Has a determination ever been given to you by any agency, not only DERM?
No. We requested a determination because they state that they had done the determination back in 1999, and we never got anything. We got some spreadsheet that I guess of a drive-by study that they did, but never did they come on the property. And we've already gone to court and we've lost our case in front of Judge Langer, who, you know, told me I had a very strong case, but that he was ruling in favor of the county. So we have to destroy, and I'm sure that you'll have video somewhere of how my property looked before and after. So we've had to destroy our nursery operation. We're still in debt with the Farm Service Agency. We owe them, and we will be, I guess, in judgments or whatever, because we cannot continue to practice our agricultural use on an agricultural property that we're getting exemption on our taxes for and have all the licenses for. So
just to get this straight, you have a debt with the federal government, FSA, the USDA office who came to the property, looked at the property, and gave you a loan on this agricultural property. And they never told you this was a wetland, so they gave you the loan so that you can perform your legal operations as a nursery for your business.
Yeah.
You also owe the investors, because they provided a loan for you to purchase this property, for you to have your operations and your source of living, because that is what you do, and that's what feeds your family. You also have a legal bill. Do you owe outstanding bills on legal?
Yeah, I do. I have the attorney that represented us halfway, I guess, because we ended up going to court, just me and my husband. But the attorney who we hired at the beginning, we owe her $15,000, close to $16,000, which we have not been able to pay for I don't know how many months now.
And inasmuch that you have not been able to continue your legal operations as a nursery, and you had to stop everything Where are you now? What situation are you now?
Well,
that tells us your story, and where are you now?
okay, right now I'm in foreclosure court with the investors. I believe that I'm somewhere close to, what do you call it when you're delinquent with the government? In default with my government loans, and I am fearing that I will have the sheriff come to my property to evict me at any time.
So basically, you're going to be homeless and without a business. And not only that, I understand that you also had put a collateral of other lands that had been left to you through inheritance to secure what you had here, and that is gone too.
I'm going to lose 2.5 acres in Brevard County that were paid free and clear. I'm going to lose the 5 acres here, and I guess 27 years that me and my husband have struggled from our first house in order to reach the point where we could acquire the 5 acres.
So you're financially broke. How do you feel emotionally?
I am emotionally drained, and the only thing that keeps me surviving is God, because otherwise I think I would be very close to suicide. Thank you, Michelle. It's all illegal, everything they're doing. The government is completely doing illegalities with a license.
And I will continue on with our other neighbors.